What's up, guys? We're back with an NBA video here on the secondary channel. We're going to be breaking down both of the play-in games here on Wednesday, April 16th. We're going to be looking at bets on the side and over-under. We're also going to be looking at a bunch of player props for each one of these games. Now, if you're looking for my Major League Baseball plays for today, click the link in the description or wait until the end of this video. A thing will pop up and show you the video there for our MLB plays here for Wednesday as well. We're going to be looking at all the games over there, so definitely get over there and check that out. Hit that like button for this video. Comment down below anything you want to say about these games, any feedback you have for me. Please let me know anything you are seeing out there. I appreciate all the feedback, and I will be more than happy to answer. If you're new here, maybe coming over from the main channel, hit that subscribe button. We're going to be posting our NBA plays here throughout the playoffs on this channel, so subscribe so you can stay updated. Quick reminder, all of our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link in the description to go over there and see our top confidence picks from the entire team of experienced cappers over there at Stump the Spread. Right now, our premium members are getting daily MLB, NBA, NHL, and UFC picks. Major League Baseball, our most profitable sport the last 3 seasons in a row, has been off to a great start to the year. Just had an undefeated day there on Tuesday, so things are absolutely cruising along there. Definitely want to get over there, get on that free email list, take a look at the free picks, and take a look at signing up for a premium membership if you're looking for the best value in the game. Like I said, guys, this is our secondary channel. There will be a link to the main channel down in the pinned comment. And like I said, Major League Baseball plays will be over there. As always, our favorite picks for this video and for every video that we post out there will be in the pinned comment of each respective video. Now, let's get into our first game of the night here of the play-in schedule there for Wednesday, April 16th. We're looking at the Miami Heat going on the road to take on the Chicago Bulls. The Heat come into this game, guys, not fresh off the best season ever. They ended things 37-45, kind of an odyssey getting there as well. The whole Jimmy Butler drama not really shaking out the way they would have hoped, I am sure. They would have obviously liked to get a little bit more out of him in the trade market, but we have seen some positives, guys like Hero stepping up, Bam kind of turning around a season that got off to a pretty rocky start. Now, unfortunately, Nikola Jovic did not get to play out the entire season, ending up with an injury and stuff like that, and I'm not going to say they necessarily limped here into the play-in, but it was a little bit brutal, and they're really the last team to make it in. Everybody else was pretty aggressively tanking. Like everybody below the Heat, like Toronto, Brooklyn, the 76ers, like those are all teams that were trying to lose. So the Heat did finish things up 6-4 over their last 10. So I guess they come into this with a little bit of momentum, but not a ton, guys. Definitely not a ton. I can't really give him credit for that, but they've done some decent things. We've seen Hero really continue to develop as a scorer. He's obviously been a great scorer, forever, but now it's really up to him to put up the offense. Now, looking at what these two teams have done against each other, what the Heat have done against the Bulls this season, it hasn't looked great. They did lose 119-111 back on the 9th of this month, so not very long ago there down the stretch, but maybe not the biggest game there for the Heat. We'll see. We'll see what goes on here. But the Bulls did win back in March and in February as well. So it's been a little bit rough out there. Obviously, looking at the starting lineup here, or the projected starting lineup for Miami, we don't see too many huge matchup issues like Tyler Hero starting, Burks getting in there in the starting lineup, Wiggins, Bam, and Kel'el Ware has been a huge find for this team. It's been great to be able to play him and Bam at the same time, giving them a lot of size out there. That could be pretty helpful. We'll see how helpful it actually is. Obviously, Kel'el Ware, somebody has a lot of time still to develop. He is far from his final form. The second unit doesn't really get me too excited. We've seen Jaime Jaquez Jr. Drop much lower in the rotation. That hasn't been great. And Wiggins coming over in that Jimmy Butler trade, I don't know if he's exactly a prime piece, but we'll see what the Heat can do in this matchup, guys, as they go on the road to take on a very young, exciting team in the Chicago Bulls, who finished their regular season 39-43 on the year, so not looking too bad. They've actually been playing really well down the stretch, winning 7 of their last 10. That helped them get home court advantage here in this play-in, opening round or opening play-in game. So they've got a slightly better chance to, keep their season alive. We've seen all kinds of craziness from the Chicago Bulls this season. Gone is, Zach LaVine. That's a pretty big development for this franchise to finally move on from him. But we've seen some good stuff. Bruzelis coming along. He's a very exciting young player for this squad. We've seen Kobe White continue to put up very, very good numbers. The Josh Giddey acquisition is looking like it's going to work out great. He's been playing amazing here, towards the end of the year. So yeah, lots of positive things for me to say about Josh Giddey at the moment. Lonzo Ball being out and missing extended time is a problem. We do see he's going to be out for this game, so that's not great. Yeah, that wrist issues kept him sidelined for quite some time. When was the last time he played? Yeah, back on February 28th there against Toronto. So yeah, pretty brutal stuff there in the Lonzo Ball situation. But other than that, the Bulls have to be pretty excited. Kevin Huerter's giving them some good minutes here down the stretch. Vujacic continues to do his thing. Bringing Zach Collins in has honestly been a little bit helpful at times as well. So this is a squad that definitely has some pieces, guys. Not going to lie to you. The future does appear bright there for the Chicago Bulls. So they've got to be pretty happy coming into this game. And I'm sure they feel great about all the success they've had against Miami this season. That 119-111 win against the Heat there, only, what is it going to be, 9 days ago? Back on the 9th, so 7 days ago? Yeah, that's... not that long ago, guys. Not that long ago. We saw the Bulls end up getting the win in that game. They shot the ball pretty well, but not unsustainably well. 14-37 from three. That's 37-38%. That's nothing crazy. They had a significant edge there on the boards, having 7 more rebounds there. I believe it was 7. Yeah, an edge of 7 there. So yeah, pretty good stuff. They did struggle against Tyler Hero, giving up 30 points to him, so that's not ideal, but decent production from basically everyone in the starting lineup. 28 points there from Giddey. He posted a monster triple-double. Seems like the Heat are going to have a little bit of trouble containing him. So looking at the numbers for this game, guys, we see the Bulls at -1, so basically a coin flip game. We've got a total of 219.5. Miami's only 16-23-1 against spread on the road this year, 23-18 to the over on the road. Chicago 21-19-1 against spread at home, 21-19-1 to the under at home as well. So there are a couple plays that make sense to me in this game. First up, I think the over is very, very live. Neither one of these teams particularly adept at the defensive side of basketball at the moment, which feels weird to say about a Miami Heat team, but it just feels like it's true at this point. I don't think there's a whole lot of arguing. They're just not that great of a defensive team. A lot of their defense doing well. It happens kind of when they slow down the pace of play, and so it's kind of just due to the pace of play being low. So yeah, I think this is an over spot. Neither one of these teams very good defensively, especially not the Bulls, especially not the Heat. The Heat. So yeah, definitely think over 219.5 is live. There was 130 points or 230 total points scored in their last game. So yeah, I don't think we're going to see an under in this one. I think the over is definitely in play. And in terms of a side, it's a little bit tougher. I think the over is going to be my bigger play out of the two, but I'm going to lean just slightly here towards the Miami Heat. They have a lot more, infinitely more experience in this kind of situation. So I'm going to lean towards the experience here just a little bit, but I don't know if it's enough to put that play in the pinned comment. I would say that over definitely has a chance, but we've also got some player props to look at in this one that have a definite chance to end up in the pinned comment, guys. And first up, I'm looking at Bam. I think Bam's going to have over his 19.5 total points at -105. Pretty good odds. I don't think Vujacic is going to be stopping him or really slowing him down too much. Bam had 18 points on really bad shooting in that game back on April 9th, so I think we see him step that up a little bit. I think that was mostly his fault that he was missing those shots and not so much the defense, so definitely like Bam's over on points. Another over I like here for the Miami Heat is Alec Burks, guys. Over 6.5 points at -105. If he gets the minutes that we expect him to get here as a starter, he usually comes up big. He had 7 points against Chicago back on April 9th, and that was in only 16 minutes. And in that game, I believe he didn't shoot the ball particularly great. Yeah, 2 of 6 from the field, made 2 threes. That was it, and made 1 free throw. So yeah, I'm expecting better stuff from him in this game. Another number, though, an under here on a Bulls player. I think Bam going to struggle to get his 9.5 boards. I like him under 9.5 boards here at even odds. He only had 6 rebounds against Chicago back in the 9th. He has to focus more again on offense in this matchup, and I think that's going to retract a little bit from what we see him normally do on the glass. So I like Bam's under here on rebounds quite a bit. That's a play that definitely has a shot to end up in the pinned comment. And another one that has an excellent shot to end up in the comment here is Josh Giddey's over on made 3-pointers. Right now the line's set at 1.5. If you take him to make at least 2 threes in this game, you can get it at even odds. He's going to be completely unguarded on the perimeter until he knocks down a couple of threes. Now, if he eventually does that, then the Heat will press up on him a little bit more and kind of try and run him off the line, I'm sure. And I think that'll be very successful because Giddey doesn't really want to take threes. But if you dare him enough, he will take them. And he's been knocking them down at a pretty solid rate here down the stretch this season. So I don't think we see him get too tight here in a play-in game that obviously the pressure is, I would say, on the Heat as opposed to being on the Chicago Bulls, a team that everyone's a little bit surprised to even see here. So yeah, Giddey to get over 1.5 made threes at even odds has a great chance to end up in the pinned comment as well. And last but not least, guys, I think Vujacic here to record a double-double at -140 is pretty playable. He won't be guarded by Bam. He had a monster game the last time he faced the Heat, guys. He looked really, really good out there. 9 of 15 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. He had 11 boards, 8 assists, and 20 points out there and was a plus 13. So very, very good stuff. I think for him to get a double-double in this game is very, very live. Honestly, whether the Bulls have a great game or not, I think Vujicic is going to put up his numbers. So that's what I've got for game 1. Now let's go ahead and hop over and look at game 2. We've got the Dallas Mavericks going on the road to take on the Sacramento Kings. The Mavs come into this game, guys. They finished their regular season 39-43 on the year, and I'll be honest, probably the worst year of any professional franchise that I can think of in my lifetime. Pretty brutal. That Luka trade is looking like a complete and utter disaster. Everybody thinks so, except for maybe 2 people in the whole world, and that would be the owner and the GM. So we'll see how this plays out. We'll see. Maybe Anthony Davis leads them on a crazy playoff run, but that would be one of the more wild things I would have ever seen in my entire life of following NBA basketball. So we'll see what happens. The Mavs didn't close the season great, going 4-6 over their last 10. And to be honest, I think they got really, really lucky that A, the Portland Trailblazers wanted to tank, and B, the Phoenix Suns had an injury there to Kevin Durant, and that Bradley Beal is terrible. So that's what really led the Mavs to being able to cling on to that 10 seed. We'll see if they are able to do anything with it. We don't have a whole bunch of great head-to-head information to go over in this one because these two teams really haven't played each other with the right mix of players available, and with all the big moves that you've seen from these two, I think that's pretty much what you would expect. The Mavs come into this game looking relatively healthy. Starting lineup of Spencer Dinwiddie, Klay Thompson, PJ Washington, Anthony Davis, and Derek Lively II. Probably not exactly what they had dreamed up. Now, they have gotten a little bit healthy. Caleb Martin playing, looking okay out there. Obviously, Gafford and Derek Lively being back after missing a lot of time this season is helpful as well. Max Christie was an underrated piece of that trade. Now, obviously, the Mavs didn't get nearly enough in that Luka trade, but getting Max Christie in there, not nothing. He's played really well, after getting moved over, and was playing well for the Lakers as well. But we also see Najee Marshall stepping up and putting up some big numbers when given the opportunity. Now, he is going to be coming off the bench in this game. I expect him to play more minutes if either Dinwiddie or Klay Thompson really struggle. But other than that, I don't know how many minutes we're going to get out of Najee Marshall, so that remains something of an unknown. But the Mavs, obviously a team with a lot of pressure on them to do something positive here. Obviously, that Luka trade, there's going to be... the Mavs are probably honestly happy to be playing this game away from home. I know that sounds insane to say, but all the fans aren't super pumped about the Dallas Mavericks. You probably don't want fire Nico chants going on while you're trying to win a play-in game. So we'll see what Dallas can do here. Obviously, I would say the pressure's on them here a little bit. They're taking on a Sacramento Kings team that probably feeling the pressure too. I mean, the Kings finished their regular season 40-42 on the year. Gone is De'Aaron Fox, so that era is over. The DeMar DeRozan acquisition didn't really work out. We've seen all kinds of weirdness from this team over the course of the season. They finished their regular season 5-5 over their last 10, so not exactly on fire themselves. We've seen interesting stuff from Sacramento this year for sure. Bringing in Zach LaVine could end up being a good move. I don't think the door is closed on him being a big difference maker kind of player out there, but I don't think he can be your second best player on a championship team. Now, who's the second best player on this team? Like, the best player is clearly Domantas Sabonis. I don't think there's any reasonable argument against that. Now, DeMar DeRozan has a great history. He's done some big things in this league, maybe not in terms of winning, but in terms of longevity. I don't know. Feels like this acquisition has really kind of derailed things for the Kings. But a starting lineup of Keon Ellis, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, and Domantas Sabonis could look pretty good. Now, that second unit is troublesome. I mean, we've loved what we've seen from Jonas Valanciunas since, being brought over. That looks good. But other than that, I struggle to find a ton of positives for this team. So we'll see what they can do here in this specific matchup. I mean, they're going up against a Dallas team that has a lot to play for. The Kings obviously also have a lot to play for. It appears Sabonis may be asking out of Sacramento if they can't, do something positive here, or if he can't be reassured that they're headed in a positive direction as a franchise. So we'll see what happens here. Seems a little bit brutal for both sides. Not loving the situation right now for the Mavs, obviously having just traded away Luka, and not loving the situation for the Sacramento Kings, having just traded away De'Aaron Fox this season. So, yeah, it's not looking great. The odds makers like the Kings here at -4.5. We've got a total of 215.5. A major trend in this game, guys. Anthony Davis is 0-10 in his career against Domantas Sabonis. Pretty wild stuff. You don't often see those kind of numbers against somebody. Like, that's crazy. Anthony Davis, one of the best players out there, but Domantas Sabonis is a great player as well and has had AD's number over the course of his career. So that's something we got to take into consideration here. Now, in terms of the trends for this game, Dallas 18-22-2 against the spread on the road, 27-14-1 to the over on the road. Sacramento 14-24-3 against the spread at home, 23, 16, and 2 to the over at home. So, guys, once again, I'm looking at the over in this game. Over 215.5 is going to be my bigger lean for sure. No doubt about it. That's the play that's probably going to go in the pinned comment. Now, if you're begging me for a side, I will be riding that Sabonis trend here just slightly and taking the Kings at -4.5, but I have very little faith in that play, to be honest. I feel like this game's a little bit coin flippy, which if it is, that would mean I should take the Mavs getting 4.5 points, but I just can't really talk myself into it with how they've looked. It's hard to talk myself into the Kings either, so I think I'm just going to talk myself into seeing plenty of offense in this game and ending up over that 215.5 mark. But once again, we've got a bunch of very solid player props lined up for this game that I'm excited to get into, and let's go ahead and hop in right now. First up, we're looking at Klay Thompson. Now, it's looking like the Warriors kind of dodged a bullet here with not re-signing him to some sort of crazy max deal because Klay has not looked like the Klay of old. Now, would he have looked much better if he had gotten the chance to stay in Golden State and they had paid him? I think it's possible. I don't think it's anywhere close to a lock, though. So in terms of what we think Klay's going to do in this specific game, despite the Kings not being a great defensive team, I just don't really see Klay having some sort of monster night out there. I'm taking Klay under 14.5 points at -140. He's gone over 14.5 points only once this month. That is not a good look, guys. Not a good look at all. He just doesn't seem like he has it these days. Now, maybe we see Game 6 Klay. Maybe we see vintage Klay Thompson go out there and make a bunch of shots, but it's just a little bit hard for me to see it. So I'm going to be leaning towards his under in terms of points. On the other side, guys, Zach LaVine has been on fire recently, and I think that probably continues in this game. I'm taking LaVine over 24.5 points at -110. The offense has to come from him. He has been way more aggressive. He's been over this number 5 straight games where he's played his full minutes, including 26 points against the Clippers and 27 points there against the Denver Nuggets. So, yeah, Zach LaVine, I think he's going to rise to the occasion. Somebody who's been very ready for his entire career to be put in these big pressure moments. I think we're going to see him rise to the challenge. So, over 24.5 total points for LaVine seems extremely playable in this one. On the Mavs side, guys, Anthony Davis, I think we're not going to exactly see a monster Anthony Davis game in terms of his rebounding. I'm taking him under 11.5 boards. Bro just doesn't do that well versus Sabonis in his career. He couldn't get over this number against either the Lakers or the Clippers in his April game. So both those things worry me. I think he's going to be much more focused on getting his offense than getting his rebounds. And I think that's going to lead him to be under 11.5 boards in this game. In terms of his shooting numbers, Anthony Davis has been more than happy to get up those threes ever since coming over here to Dallas. Seems like something the Lakers were kind of talking him out of and something he would like to keep doing. I'll go ahead and take a flyer here on Anthony Davis to make 2 or more threes made in this game. It's 2-to-1 odds, plus 200. Bro's been getting those threes up. Like I said, since coming to Dallas, the Kings are going to be more than happy to let him take that shot, and he's not going to be having fun on the interior against Sabonis, according to the trends of his entire career. So I think this is a very reasonable spot. We'll see him take maybe 3 to 5 threes, especially if they get down. And to knock down a couple of those for Anthony Davis, far from out of the question. So at plus 200, this is a play I definitely have to consider. Now, last but not least, guys, maybe my favorite prop of the entire day. I'm looking at Max Christie in this one, over 9.5 points plus rebounds at -105. Bro has been killing it since coming over via the trade and will get plenty of points off the bench. Getting his numbers should be child's play. He's been over this number in 5 of his last 6 games, including going over against Memphis, the Lakers, and twice against the Clippers, and he's been kind of crushing that number. I think he deserves more minutes on this team. I honestly think it's a little bit crazy that he's not starting in place of somebody like maybe Klay Thompson, as dirty as that sounds to say. Like, you didn't hear it from me. But I kind of feel like maybe that should be something that's considered. But anyway, Bro should get tons of minutes. I think he easily gets over those numbers in this game. Guys, that's all we have for this one. Obviously, just 2 games there on the slate. Now, we're going to be diving into all of these NBA playoff games here soon on this channel. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button over here. This is the secondary channel. The primary channel, there's a link down in the description. That's where you'll find all of my MLB plays. So hit the like button for me over here. Subscribe over here for me if you're new to this secondary channel. Let me know in the comments any questions you have about today's slate or how the secondary channel is going to work or anything like that. Thank you for watching. Make sure you click the link in the description to get over to stumpthespread.com, get on our free email list, check out all of our premium picks, all of our free picks over there, and we will see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.